certainly say that what we are doing at this moment in our history is part of a long process of evolution, if you will, or a process of development. Remember St. Paul. He was not at the Last Supper. He did not witness Jesus washing the feet of the disciples, as John tells us he did. He did not witness Jesus taking bread, blessing it, breaking it, and giving it to his disciples and saying, "This is my body." He wasn't there to hear the words that Jesus spoke over the cup of blessing. "This is my blood, the blood of the covenant. Do this in memory of me." But he heard about it. It was handed on to him. This good news, this event, was handed on to him. And in his letter to the Corinthians, he says, "I got it. I'm handing it on to you. I'm handing on to you what I have received from those who have gone before." Let me suggest that what we are doing at this moment in history, in the church, in North America, is exactly what Paul did in the early church in Corinth. We are handing on to the next generation, or the next generations, what we have received. And we are taking care right now to hand on the best of what we have received. The riches of the tradition that we have inherited in our day. The celebration of the Mass, particularly as it has been formulated, as it is written down in the Roman Missal, has been handed on from one generation to the next. And if you look at the history, you will notice that every time the Missal is published again, or written down again, it's been tweaked. It's been changed, maybe ever so slightly. It's been improved. Things have been added. And all of this is to assist the church, to assist the Christian community, to celebrate with its best words, its best songs, its best use of signs and symbols. And that's where we are today. We have a very rich liturgical tradition, a very rich tradition, a heritage of prayer. And in recent years, we have discovered some of that richness. But there's more of that richness that we have yet to discover. The richness of the Church's prayer that nourished the faith of generations of Christians centuries before we were even thought of. And what we're doing in the church today is going back and looking at that tradition, drawing from that tradition, so that our faith and the faith of the next generation to whom we hand on this mystery will likewise be enriched. And so when we sing the new Missal, when we hear the prayers in the new Missal, we will discover some phrases, some expressions of prayer that will sound foreign to us. But they are in fact part of the heritage that we have received. An image I would share with you is an image I received from someone else, handed on to you, is the image of the Sistine Chapel. The ceiling in the Sistine Chapel, painted by Michelangelo. If any of you have been to Rome, say 20 years ago, and you had seen the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, you would say, "Oh, it's beautiful. It's really nice." But if you have been there generations of Christians couldn't see that because it was dirty.